Good to have you back on our episode, our series actually of faith and grief. I am Amanda Elo, and I have someone with me today who is about to share a story with us, and I hope you enjoy and be inspired. That's how it works. How are you doing, sir?
Doing okay.
You sure you're doing okay?
Doing okay.
All right, so what's your name, please?
My name is Solomon.
Thank you so much for letting us into your house to do this. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
All right. So, quickly, you know what this whole thing is all about. So I just want to ask you quickly, what's the story behind the loss of your loved one? Who did you lose? What happened?
I lost my mom. My only mom. Because I don't have any other one, so I lost her. She died. One day she was here, and then 4 days later she came to visit me here in this house, my house, held my hands, and she prayed with me. She's always been the one that prayed with me. You know, that's to say I pray for you, but she prayed with me. She made it a habit to call me every evening for as long as I can remember, as long as I know she has had a phone. She called me every evening to pray for me, pray with me, and then she told me to stop anything I'm doing and then pray with her. So she came here and she held my hands in my bedroom. She prayed with me and she wouldn't let go. And I found myself missing her more than usual. I didn't want her to go. I just wanted her to stay. She spent only a night and she said she was going to leave. Because my dad, who is alive, is blind and needs help, and she was always the one helping him in the village. So she came here. She couldn't stay. Despite the comfort I offered, she refused to stay. She said she needed to go. She said she was feeling somehow. She said she wasn't feeling too good. I said, okay, let's go for checkup. Let's go and see. I work in the hospital now, so I can get people to look at you. She said the next time, that when she comes back the next time, I shouldn't worry, that nothing's going to happen to her. She's always told me that one since I was a child. Whenever I was afraid of losing her, she would say, I shouldn't worry, she's not going anywhere. Well, she left. And 4 days later, I was called on the phone that she had a very serious headache, and I wanted to speak with her on the phone. I wanted her to explain to me what was going on with her. And she said, she couldn't say anything, she was groaning in pain. So I began to pray for her just the way she would usually pray for me. I began to talk to her. And it was on a day that was a sit-at-home day because there wasn't movement. I had to go and beg my mentor, and he got a vehicle. We went to the village to pick her up because they stay in the village, she and my dad and my nephews. And when I saw her, she looked at me. She shook her head, and I held her by the hand and told her I was going to carry her into the vehicle. I kept promising her. I told her, Mama, you're going to be fine. You're going to be fine. Everything's going to be fine. You're going to be fine. You're going to... And then her fellow wives who gathered and were attending to her, they were all looking up to me. And this is the painful part. Everybody was looking up to me. And they were happy that I was there because they were sure that she was going to be fine. And I told her she was going to be fine. So I took her with me. Went into the vehicle. She was in pain, I didn't know why. Went to the first hospital, they didn't know what it was. Went to the second one, they asked for the money I couldn't give. Then we went to the teaching hospital. And I begged her, I said, please don't leave me. Don't go. So, went to the first hospital. They were managing her blood pressure, saying that her BP was high. And then she was complaining of pain on her neck. And they said it was the BP that was giving her the headache underneath her neck. We went to the second hospital because I wasn't comfortable anymore with their repeat diagnosis. Went to the second hospital and they said I was going to deposit ₦1 million, and I told them I only had 500,000. I pleaded with them. They said that the man was saying it was out of his. I later found out that it was the man's hospital actually. He said that it was out of his control, that he can't do anything. My cousin asked if they could accept extra 300 to make it 800. I promised them that whatever I took, the next day I was going to bring the money. Just they said they're sorry because we went for a CT scan and they discovered they said she had berry aneurysm. That was what they told me. And they couldn't do anything. So my supervisor in UNTH told me that, actually called me, he was angry with me and said, your mom is sick and you work in the hospital. Why are you going to other hospitals? But you know people's fear with the general hospital. I took her with an ambulance because at that moment she couldn't walk anymore. I had to lift her to the bathroom to ease herself. That was why I begged her. I said, please don't go. She said she was going to do her best. That she would do her best. So I went to UNTH, got there, she got admitted, did several tests, spent lots of money. Her case was deteriorating. The test proved that she had, because we had to go to Memphis. There's a hospital, a specialist hospital here in Enugu. I took her again back to Enugu with an ambulance for her test at Memphis. They tested her, and each time she winced in pain, I would tell her this was going to pass, until they said it was multiple aneurysms of the brain. It wasn't berry aneurysm. And at the age of 71, they didn't need to tell me that her chances were slim. You know, when she convulsed and started having some seizure, they said they need to put her in the ICU. So money started going. I spent everything I saved. Took a loan, spent it even. I didn't know I had friends until that moment though, because I sent out an SOS. My siblings came around. They didn't have much to give, but they gave the much that they could. I had friends and people who loved me, who sent me money. In a week, I was able to get over 600,000 naira. We still went down the case because they had different things they needed in the hospital. They would say, buy this, buy that. Sometimes they spend about 100,000 naira. Before the next day, they didn't need that thing anymore. And then they would buy, you spend more money, you buy more drugs. My sister was sending drugs from Port Harcourt. She sent drugs of over 500,000. She was admitted on the 19th of April in UNTH. I remember coming to see her, and she couldn't speak anymore. She looked at me and she tears were running down her eye. She motioned to me to come and lift her up. I came and I lifted her up. She hugged me and she just hit me like this behind. I understood what it meant because she's my mom. This is her language. She was telling me that all was going to be fine, even though she knew that nothing was going to be the same anymore. So, and that was the last communication I had with my mom. Except for when she held my fingers tight and I made her a promise And after I made the promise, she let go. The 2nd of May, I was called on the phone that my mother had passed on.
All right, so I still am sorry for the loss, and my words are not enough, I understand. So I'm just going to go straight to you and God. I know it's difficult in times like this. Losing a mother is a big deal. Losing anybody is a big deal. Losing a mother is, I think I understand a bit what it's like, right? You are Christian, and I know you must have been tempted at some point, for one reason or the other, to ask God questions. Right now, what is your relationship with God? The essence of this session, remember, is for some other person who is grieving to understand that it is well. Whichever way it is well, it's okay to grieve, and it's also okay to take consolation. So I want to hear what your story, as far as God and you is concerned, is all about.
My mom didn't just lead me to God. She held me by the hand and made sure I was with God, because she was always with God. So if you look at it literally, she made sure I was there. So my mirror to God was my mom. She became the person I looked up to. Everything, godliness, was passed down to me through her. For a very long time, I might have some interactions with God. I might have prayed. In fact, I once prayed in my mother's name and it was answered. I actually asked God, I said, I don't know you. I don't have any relationship with you, but this woman knows you, and for her sake, please do this. And it was done instantly. But when she was sick in the hospital, I prayed for her. And I asked for her to be healed. I asked for her to be cured. Amongst other prayers, every other thing I asked for was given. When every money I had with me was gone, I said, look at this. This is your daughter lying down there. I don't have any other thing to give. And they keep asking for more. And in that moment, I had a voice say, check your phone. I checked my phone. And there was this money I was expecting. And I was sent a message. How much did you ask for this? I said, nobody, they didn't negotiate, they didn't haggle, they just sent me the money. I removed the money for the business. I took the one I needed for my mom. I started spending again. So everything I asked for, we went to the hospital on a sit-at-home day. No, it was on a Sunday. There was no one to run a test, and there was a test that needed to be run at the radiological department for her to be taken care of, to know the next stage. There was nobody. I went back to my office and I cried and I prayed again. I had a voice say, check your phone. I checked my phone and I saw my sister sent me a message. She said, everyone we need at the radiological department is here. And when we came, they said that we're all summoned to go to the hospital. I knew it was God. I know that it feels, I'm old. I'm not a child anymore. At this stage, her desire, my mom's desire has always been that her children would know God. She served him all her life. Anyone who knows her would attest to that. That her children would know God in every capacity, in whatever capacity they can just serve God. She would always say it, whether you like it or not. You must serve God. You must. That is her desire. So, when I was praying for her to be healed and it seemed like it wasn't happening, I was angry. I yelled. It was on the streets, yeah. I yelled. I said, why? I've seen this woman. I've seen you do the miraculous through her. I've seen her do. I don't understand. Why? I had a voice tell me. And it's actually, I haven't had God in a very long time until that moment. I had a voice tell me, how dare you bring in judgment? And this was what I said. How dare you come to me in judgment with her good deeds? Have you done as much as she has for me? Have you worshipped and served me the much that she has? What gives you the right to speak on her behalf? I became weak. Because at that moment I understood. Because the following thing was reaffirmed in my mind that I was thinking, said, this is not about her. I kept hearing that voice say, this is not about her, this is about you. This is about your siblings. There's a lesson to learn in this. And you need to learn the lesson to avoid a repetition of this. And that was when I yielded to the will of God, and I said, well, she's your daughter. Whatever you choose to do, you do. But I began to pray more for myself more than she. It was as if my mind was preparing me for the inevitable. I've always had my mom have my back, even in prayers. Because I remember there was a time last year my blood pressure went very high in Abuja, that my left arm and leg became numb. And my mom called me on the phone immediately. I picked the call, she started praying. She said, in Jesus' name, I started praying. And she was praying, and praying. And then it was as if ice water came over me. And she ended the call. She didn't discuss anything else. So she was my watchtower. As painful as it is to lose her, amongst other things, because I can't say that this is what God's plan was. Only He knows. But I know that one of the things that came out of it was that I didn't have my mom anymore to pray through. As painful as it is, I came to understand the scripture that said that you should count it all joy when you go through trials and tribulations, because these things, they are the things that strengthens your faith. I feel alone because she's always had my back. But a lot of times, God has proven to me that I'm not alone. And I've come to understand that. For all the times that I had to call my mom and say, hey, I'm confused about this. All I need to do now is to get down on my knees and then tell God that I'm confused about this. And then clarity comes. So I think in my grief and in my pain, I find relief in knowing that more than I could communicate with God through my mother, now I can communicate with Him on my own. So that's the strengthening of that faith.
So it strengthened your faith, the whole thing. It didn't weaken it.
Yeah, it strengthened my faith. But from time to time, the human in me creeps up and then tells me, you see, when you're traveling to a destination and you have a flat tire, you can stop and you fix it. If your engine heats up, you can stop and pour water into it. But you have your destination at the back of your mind, right? Until you get there. When you get there, you're like, wow. But if you're traveling to a destination and you've had all these hurdles on the way, and then as you're almost getting there, they tell you the destination doesn't exist anymore. You become devastated. That is the human in me. Everything I've ever wanted to do in my life is to make my mother proud. I wanted her to just come rest. She's had a very tough life. She had a very tough one. She never had a break for one day. She never had a break for one day. With 8 children and catering for them, an abusive marriage. I just wanted her to have a break, and everything I was doing was just to get her to just relax for one day and just say. And even as I started getting some money, I was giving her, it was as if she had gotten so used to pain and hunger that she was afraid of spending these things on herself. She wanted everyone to be all right. So she would distribute and then stay hungry. She was the destination. And then she's gone. From time to time, I found myself not confused, but clueless as to what's the essence of all this. What's the essence of all this? Like, what am I hustling for? What's the money for? What am I looking for? And then I am also reassured that she wasn't trying to better me so she can spend the rest of her life enjoying me. She was trying to better me so that I can also better my life and better others. Because if there's one thing I picked from my mother's life, is that she is a lover. She loved everyone. She wanted everyone to be happy. That's why she kept distributing. She kept reaching out. She would always say, don't forget this person, don't forget this person. There are other things she wanted for me too. And it's a pity she didn't get to physically witness them. But these are goals I have to focus on. certain the things she wanted from me. They were the crux of our discussion the last time she came here. It was as if she knew she was going. So she came and we had this discussion. And I promised her, yeah, these things are going to come. They'll fall into place. So sometimes I cannot come here. I can't stand here and tell you that I'm always strong, that I've gotten over the pain and everything. No. I cry. I have videos of her in the hospital where she was discussing with me and I told her everything was going to be fine. And she said, yeah, she knows. And it was as if I lied to her, but I cry. I miss her a lot. There's a very big hole. But I am reassured by the knowledge that every prayer she's ever made for me has come to pass. And then the ones that are yet to come, they're on the way. So I've enjoyed my mom for my whole life. Sometimes I hear a voice say, "You can't be selfish. Come on, you've had longer than many people have. It hurts to lose her, but because she has left so much in me, I'm strengthened by those things." And that knowledge is everything she said to me is almost always built around God. It has also strengthened my faith.
All right, thank you so much. I feel you already encouraged people, but just in clear words or direct words, persons watching you who are grieving right now, who must have lost one person or the other, might just want to hear something from you. You know, words of encouragement. I mean, it might be too much asking this of you, but if you've got just a little word or just some words of encouragement for someone, please let it out.
All right. If you've lost someone and you also believe like me that there's life after here, I want you to know that you're going to meet that someone. All right? That's one. Then number two, the best thing that you can do for the person, because for you to miss this someone means that you've had beautiful memories of this person. You've created very wonderful memories of them. So the best thing that you can do for the person and you is to not tarnish that memory, to build on that memory, to respect that memory in everything that you do. What are the things that the person is most proud of in you? Build on them. Because any of the times that you climb each of those steps, any of the times that you are able to reach that goal, those things that the person has respect for when it comes to you, the things that the person loves about you, anytime that you do it, you'll find this deep joy at the back of your heart with the feeling that they're looking down on you and smiling, that you've done them proud. This is how I cope, and I think it will help you a lot. Anytime you feel like crying, go into your closet and cry. But don't cry forever. Just do the things that make him proud. Thank you.
Thank you so much for doing this. Thank you so much for letting me do this in your house, and thank you so much for letting out this story from within. I mean, I could feel it. Thank you so much for this. What's your name again?
My name is Solomon. Well, some people call me Boozer.
Thank you, Solomon. It was amazing doing this with you. Thank you. All right, so I have come to the end of this session, as a matter of fact, and I hope it blessed someone. I hope it inspired someone, and I hope the aim was achieved, actually, and not defeated. I do not have much words because it's not in my place. However, keep looking up to God and understand that your brothers and sisters all over the world are passing through the same thing. I say this in love, not out of insensitivity. I just want you to know that you're not alone, and I think it makes a lot of difference. I'm Amanda Elo once again. Do not forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, comment, share, like, and do every beautiful thing you can to make Faith on the Street be everywhere on the streets of the world. Thank you once again for joining me to the end of this series. I appreciate you big time. God bless you.